A very good morning to you all from Indian School of Ethical Hacking, and today we are live again to show you about ASP.NET. So the topic is today coding made simple with ASP.NET, and I am Somdeb Chakraborty, and let's start the video. Hopefully we will like it. Okay, so many of us are using PHP, HTML, JavaScript, to do web development and all. But there is another platform which is equally efficient, like PHP and all, to do web development. There are slight differences, obviously. I will talk about that. So at first, what is ASP.NET? ASP.NET is an open source server-side web application framework created by Microsoft that runs on Windows and was started in the early 2000s. ASP.NET allows developers to create web applications, web services, and dynamic content-driven websites. So just like any other web scripting languages. So what is ASP basically? Basically, ASP.NET is one of frameworks of Microsoft.NET. So you have heard of, I think, lots of .NET programming languages like C#, VB, and ASP is one of them. ASP is basically used when you want to create a website. So you want to use ASP with the help of C# and VB.NET. You can create a dynamic website or any web application or web services. So now, as I told you that many of us are using PHP and all everything. So why ASP.NET? So as you can see, there are plenty of good reasons to use ASP.NET when developing a website or an application. High speed, low cost, and vast language support are among the most significant benefits. Okay, ASP.NET is built into the familiar Windows Server environment, requiring less setup and configuration than other web development platforms that must be installed and configured separately. That's right. Suppose you want to make a website with PHP and JavaScript, so you have to install WAMP and everything like that to host the website separately. You have to install every part separately. Suppose if you're using Linux, you need to install Node.js separately and something. So but ASP.NET, you need just one tool and you can create. Okay, so ASP.NET is built into the okay, I've just read the part. Okay, the popularity of ASP.NET makes online resources and skilled developers easy to find. Actually, the main thing is ASP.NET is supported by Microsoft, obviously. So the support you can get, the developer support, is very well established and good. Okay, so websites and applications built with ASP.NET can be faster and more efficient than a website built with PHP. So now, for example, ASP.NET applications are compiled, which means the code is translated into object code, which is then executed. This compilation process takes a small amount of time but happens only once. After compilation, the code can be executed over and over by the .NET platform very quickly. So, as you can see, ASP.NET applications are compiled, which means the code is translated into object code, which is then executed. But the thing is, it happens only once. So every time you want to run the execute the ASP.NET code, it will compile much faster than any other languages. So obviously this is an advantage if you are into web development, so you can understand what I'm trying to say here. Now, ASP.NET is written using object-oriented programming languages such as I told you, C# or VB.NET. So, C# and VB.NET. Object-oriented programming provides a framework and patterns for code organization and reuse. So, C# and VB.NET are object-oriented programming languages. You know about object-oriented programming languages. It uses classes, methods, right? So we can every time we create something, we can call it, we can reuse that thing. So while VB.NET is a holdover from Microsoft's legacy Visual Basic product, so earlier Microsoft released Visual Basic 6, but then VB.NET takes over and has largely fallen out of favor among developers. C# is a first-class programming language and consistently ranks among the world's most in-demand and most used programming languages. Basically, C# and VB.NET are used to develop, just developing Windows applications and all. But also, along with ASP.NET, the C# or VB.NET can be used also to create web service and web application and websites, static or dynamic. Okay. Now, this can raise a question that again, that PHP, we all know that PHP is one of the most popular languages we use to create any web development, website and something like that. So what is the basic difference between ASP.NET and PHP.NET? Both are almost like scripting and server-side languages. So what is the basic difference, and why should we choose ASP.NET over PHP? Okay. So let's see if ASP.NET is better or equivalent to PHP. So to begin with, one common misconception about website performance and speed is that the language you choose to code in determines your website overall performance. In reality, however, there is very little difference between performance of PHP websites and ASP.NET websites. So I have heard many of my students say that PHP is much more faster than ASP.NET. PHP has more support and something like that, but in reality that is not the case. Yeah, PHP is obviously good. Even I do web developments with PHP, and also I used ASP.NET, but I haven't seen much difference in both of the languages, because as you can see, I have wrote that in reality, however, there is very little difference. Actually, there are very little differences between these two, PHP and ASP.NET. So next time, if you want to create a website which is much faster, just don't blindly go for PHP. You can also consider ASP.NET for that. And we have also established that ASP.NET is much faster than PHP. Now, let's talk about the support. Whenever you do web development or software development, the developer support is the most important thing that we need, because not everything we can not everything we know, so we need developer support, obviously. So in terms of support, developers are offered totally different approaches as mentioned above. While open source to ASP.NET is supported by Microsoft, whereas PHP is the pure open source project. So ASP.NET is open source only supported by Microsoft, but whereas PHP is the fully open source project. The community support is always great. However, some complicated projects might require professional help and immediate solutions. So PHP community support is obviously without any question is always great. Okay, but I've experienced that some complicated projects might require professional help and immediate solutions. But if you ask in developers forum, maybe they will post the solution sometimes later or like that, so we cannot get immediate solutions from it. But in ASP, because it is supported by Microsoft, you can get immediate support, professional support, and you will find every code in Microsoft support. Okay, so you can find many well-known companies among the users of these approaches. For instance, UPS, Stack Overflow, Dell are applying ASP.NET. So Stack Overflow, I think the most go-to website for any developers or any programmers, right? Because this is the most popular website nowadays. So the websites like this are using ASP. So website like Stack Overflow or Dell using ASP, that means ASP.NET is not just any other languages. ASP.NET is also a well-known language. So why does Facebook, WordPress, Wikipedia are practicing PHP web development? Obviously, because there are two similar web languages like PHP and ASP.NET. So it's not necessary that everybody should use PHP or everybody just go for ASP.NET. There are companies who use as they want. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, that there are only little differences. So companies just go for whichever is suitable for them. Okay, so one can go for ASP.NET like UPS, Stack Overflow, Dell. There are also big companies, and obviously Facebook, WordPress, Wikipedia, the popular websites like those go for PHP web development. So this was the briefing. What is ASP? Okay, I guess you have understand that what is ASP.NET now. So if there were any misconception about ASP.NET, I guess you should just open up your mind and go for ASP.NET instead of PHP. Or obviously if you're comfortable in PHP, just stay with it. Okay, so now tools needed for ASP.NET. Okay, for PHP and or normal web development, we need just we use basically WAMP or any code editor and browsers or MySQL server from WAMP. Okay, but because those are the open source languages, but the thing is with ASP.NET that we need these two tools basically, which is Microsoft Visual Studio or MS SQL Server. Obviously, you can download it for free. You can use it. You can develop your contents. You can develop a website with free. But if you're in, suppose if you're a developer, your development company, suppose you have 5 to 6 developers, so you can also buy a license for Visual Studio on my MS SQL Server. So it will be much better for a company. But if you're an individual trying to create any web applications and all, you can just download the free community version of Microsoft Visual Studio. So let's see where you can download this. Okay, just search Microsoft Visual Studio. There there are many versions of Visual Studio here. Okay, here you can find. So I'm going into Visual Studio older download, so we can find each and every version of Visual Studio here. Okay, also you can go for the official website. There you can find the Visual Studio 2019, I guess. Also you can download it from here. The community version here is free. Professional or enterprise version, you need to pay for it. Okay, also you can download it for Mac. So you can see there are lots of versions are there, like Visual Studio 2010. You can click over here, you can download if you want to 2012, 2013. Okay, so these all are Visual Studio versions. You can use any any one of them. Okay, every version is equally good, I guess. So I am using Visual Studio 2010. Okay, so now you can say why using older system, but I am much more comfortable with that. You can also download 2013, 2015 or 2019 version. Okay, so you can just click here. Okay, download will start. um, let's see. So you can find Visual Studio 2010 Professional, Visual Studio 2010 VB Express, Visual Studio Agents 2010, SDK, Premium, Explorer, Ultimate, everything is there. So now, which one you must download? Right, there are lots of things here. So you can just, my suggestion is you can go for Visual Studio 2010 Ultimate, this one. Okay, so just click on download. So there are two things, Visual Studio 2010 Ultimate x86 and web installer x86. So I'm going for web installer. Okay, so it will start the download. It's a small file of 4.5 MB. It will take no time, so I have downloaded it earlier. Okay, now the installation part. Installation part is less complicated than any other applications. Just whenever you start the installation, just click on next and you can go for it, just like that. It will extract the files and all. And make sure whenever you run the installer, your internet should be connected to your laptop or desktop, because this is just the installer. After that it will start fetching the data from the server and then it will install. So in here what you have to do, just after completing this, you just have to click next and it will download, it will start downloading all the datas. Okay, and after downloading all the datas, again you have must click next and it will install it's by itself. Just you you don't have to click anything, just next 2 times, that's it. So let's start. You can I have already downloaded this, so it is saying that add or remove feature, everything like that. So I don't want to uninstall that one and start over again. Okay, so this is how you can get Visual Studio. Also I'm showing it for 2010. You can also go for any other variants like 2017, almost the same thing. You know why I use the more older version? I think older versions have much more support than the newer version, right? Suppose if 2019 was released just 1 year earlier, all the support it will in just 1 year it cannot give you all the support. But if you use 2010, then you will get every possible support or every possible solution for every possible errors. Okay, so again you can go for the community. You can see that if you want to download Visual Studio Community to 2017, no key required. That means this is the free version you can download it easily and you can start developing. Okay, the you must find which one of this has no key required. So community editions, first of all, this Visual Studio Team Explorer 2017 shows no key required, but um, to develop, I think community edition is perfect. Okay, so also you can download it and just start. That vscommunity.exe, and you can just, it's just an 1.2 MB of size. Okay, it will configure a few things, but I don't want to hamper my already installed Visual Studio, so I'm not taking any chance. So maybe it will change some, you know, supported files. You know, it need more upgraded supported files. So if you are going for downloading 2017 or 2019 version, so just go for it. Okay, every version is almost same. Okay, so now what we need, next tool I think is MS SQL Server. So why MS SQL Server? Because as I told you that ASP.NET or C# or VB.NET in language, these are supported by Microsoft. So you know, to create database and connectivity, you also need MS SQL Server for that. Okay, so MS SQL Server is Microsoft SQL Server. So you cannot use MySQL or something like that, but you can go for MS SQL Server to start developing. So you can just go here. Just if you're using just a reminder, if you're using older versions like I am using, which is Visual Studio 2010, don't go for SQL Server 2019 because those are not compatible. So go for MS SQL 2008 R2. So these are the compatible version if I am using 2010. If you're using 2019, then you can go for SQL Server 2019. Otherwise, there are lots of SQL Server versions. Okay, so you can find for Visual Studio 2012, you can go for SQL Server 2012 R2. Okay, so just this is the official site of Microsoft.com. So as I told you that support is from, all the support you can get is from Microsoft.com itself. So here you can see, you can download it from here. Also you install requirement, system requirement or something like that. You can download it from here, the exe file. I have the 64-bit operating system, so I can go for ENU 64-bit. SQL Express is just 122.4 MB. You can download, and again, there are no complications in installing these softwares. They're very easy, like any other software you install every day, like any other software like VLC or something like that. You just have to hit the next, and it will just get installed. You don't have to select or something like that, anything. Okay, so I have already installed it, so I cannot show you again. But it will, but it is, trust me, it is very easy to install, like any VLC media player or anything. Okay, so here you can find the versions. Okay, so now we have installed it. So as you can see, I have two versions over here. I'm going to use Microsoft Visual Studio 2010. Okay, so this is how a Visual Studio looks like. So this is the official IDE. Okay, IDE means we all know that Integrated Development Environment. Okay, so now in ID we all know that we can get support as much as we want as a developer. So let's start with website 1. So here you must click the file, and here are two parts: new project or new website. So if you want to develop and just an Windows application or something like that, you just go for new project and start just like that. ASP.NET web application and like this. Okay, so now here you can see this is under Visual Basic, but if you want the support of Visual C++, you can also go for Windows applications, you can also go for web application, and whenever you choose web application, you can see ASP.NET is all over there. Okay, and whenever you choose Windows, C# is Visual C# is already there, and go for web, then you can see web application forms. But we are going to create website here, just a web page and something like that, so I don't need this web application, so just go for new website. Okay, new website over here. So now in new website I have two options, either Visual Basic or Visual C#. Okay, so now I am going to choose one of these option. So there is, you can see ASP.NET website, ASP.NET empty website, ASP.NET dynamic data entries website. There are lots of options are there. So I'm just going to choose ASP.NET empty website because I want to build this on my own. Okay, so ASP.NET empty website. So it will store in this folder, you can see from here, and you can also change it from here with browse option. So I just let it be, so just press OK. Okay, so this is my website. Because this is an empty website, so it won't gonna show us anything. So now what I have to do, we just have to go there in it, where it is written as website 4. Just click or right click over there, and you can see there is an option called add new item. Okay, there are lots of options, add existing item and something like that, but also add ASP.NET folder, but we are going to select add new item. Here you can see web form, master pages. I mean, because this is an empty website, so you want to start with something, so I am going to start with an web form. So you can rename it from here. Default it is already .aspx is ASP.NET extension, I think you have seen that .php in website extensions, and a page name, suppose something .php or something .html. So .aspx is like this. So what is the full form of ASP? Okay, I should have mentioned it earlier, but just now I remembered. ASP is active server page, but ASP was used earlier. This is the new version of ASP, which is ASPX. This is called ActiveX server page. Okay, ActiveX server page. This is ASPX. Earlier it was just .asp. Okay, that active server page, but now it is ASPX, means ActiveX server page. Okay, so I'm going to select just a web form. Suppose you're going to build huge website actually, so then you must select master page, because what is master page? Let me show you that. If you go to any website, suppose in Microsoft, suppose this is the website. Okay, so this is the basic design, that data download center, and these are the drop downs and all. Okay, there is a search button, cart button, and login maybe, and this is the basic design of Microsoft website. Okay, so now if I click on Windows, again you can see the content here is changed, but the basic part, which is this part and this part, remains same. You can click any tab you want, but these parts will remain same. So this is the master page idea. What is master page? So in master page we design the basic structure of the website, which will every page we add will follow this structure, and but the contents will be different, obviously, but master page holds the basic structure of it. Okay, like these parts and these parts. Okay, so if you build any bigger websites, so today we are just this is just an introduction one. I'm just going to show you how to write ASP here, how to use this ID to develop an ASP web page. Okay, ASPX. So now I'm going to select the web form over here, just leave it like default.aspx. I'm happy with the name. Okay, so you can see this is almost similar to HTML and CSS and everything. Okay, that part. Okay, in between we just place some ASP contents and see if there are any changes in this design part. Okay, also we have the most important thing is if you want to develop any other application like PHP and all, there are lots of drag and drop applications are there for okay, so but the thing is drag and drop don't always work, fluently. um, Writing a code by yourself is much better than drag and drop. Okay, but what I wanted to say that if I want to go for a drag and drop IDE um, in PHP and all, you have to pay for it. Simple as that. You have to pay for it. But Microsoft gives support with this is free. Okay, so you can download. You can create. If you don't know how to design a web page, you can also drag and drop from here. So this is also an advantage, obviously, because suppose you want to make a website in a shorter amount of time, you can just do this. Okay, a simple website. But my recommendation is always go for you know codes. Okay, so now this is, we can see that this is an HTML basic HTML structure form. Okay, then body, div and everything. This div is because the by default a div is there, you can see. Okay, so now let's start with ASP.NET syntax. Okay, so I have completed these parts. So now you are thinking again back to slides, but just now I'm not going to just read out. Okay, there is syntax. Okay, so now we can see the syntax, simple syntax over here, a doc type HTML, HTML body, and now this part, that tag start and percentage sign response dot write hello world. So this is the part of ASP.NET. So how you can embed your ASP.NET code into your HTML code like this. Okay, so let's try over there. So I'm just going to copy that part. Excuse me. Okay, response dot write. Okay, so now so okay, it says the character is not valid. I don't know if it will work or not. I mean, don't get confused, I know, just I'm going to show you. Okay, let's build it. Yeah, modify. Okay, it says errors. Okay, so here we can see errors. So we cannot just write and copy paste. So you can see that we just cannot write and copy paste the code over here and expect them to run. I'm just going to show you how to write, and will later I will explain you how to write actually. So at first, just know, if you want to embed this, you can go for this. Okay, now this is the variables. This is how you can uh, mention variables over there. So this is the simple code of, kind of like array or a list. Here dim. Okay, this is vb.net help. Okay, so whenever you develop an application or you write any code in vb.net or visual basic.net, you must declare your variables with dim. Okay, so here I want to select everything. I want to declare an 3 by 3 matrix, something like that. Just over here, the obviously 2 by 2, the array is starting from 0 to 0 1 2 0 1 2. Okay, so for the first 0, the second one is changed 0 0 0 1 0 2, then 1 0 1 1 1 2. So these are the same thing, and then you can see there is for loop also. So I'm going to just now see what is happening over here. I'm going to show you practically, obviously. Okay, so these are the things, and also you can create form and like login form and something like that. I'm going to show you how to create login form today. And first name, last name, you can see input types are there, so we can use anything. Okay, so let's get to the practical part. No more slides, thank you. Okay, so let's get to the practical part now. Let's see what you can do over here. Okay, I know the error is there, whatever the error is. Okay, let's see. So I have created a running website. So now I have this part. So let's stop the execution. Okay, now let's come into sources. So what we're going to do, suppose we're going to create a simple login page, and then we will log in and get to the another page, and there I will show you how to write something. We will set some ASP codes and all. Okay, so let's just start. So first of all, I'm going to need two div. So here I have one div, so I can also create another div over here. Okay, so right now I have two divs. Okay, great. So let's see. So I can see there are two divs are there. I've already set. So in this div I want to set suppose I will just create a simple login form. Okay, in this div part. Okay, so what I can do, I can just write ASP colon. I'll show you how to just drag and drop also. Just let me show you how to write this code. Suppose label 1 and ID equals to label 1. We must give ID. Now run at, so it will run at server. We need to mention and the text which will show in level suppose is username, okay, username, okay, just like that, and we can close. So it will close the ASP level 1. So let's see if there are any levels. Error creating control, okay, it will go away, don't worry. Okay, so next line, I'm going to create the same thing. Now the content will be text box. So I'm going to create ASP text box. Obviously we need to put an username in the text box, so go for ID, let's say text box 1, and again run at server, and we don't need to set any text for the text boxes. If user will input the necessary text, we just close it. Okay, let's see if there, okay, the text box is there, the label is showing something problem, okay, it will go away. And now I'm going to, so now you can see it is like that. Okay, just now what do we need? Now we need a break statement over here, and just we need some separators. So we all know how to separate ampersand NBSP. So I need just, so I just need to copy this and paste it continuously. Done. Okay, so after this break, all again we will go for ASP I think the problem is here. Okay, let's see. Label ID equals to label 2 run at server, and text will be password, obviously password, and close this. And you need to create another text box, go for ASP text box ID equals to you must set the ID, suppose text box 2, also run at server, we all know that, and just close it. Okay, now let's see what is happening over here. So the text username something, the end tag is missing, it says the end tag is missing. Okay, so okay, the end tag is showing level 1 over here also. So now I guess, okay, so now it was my mistake, I put level 1 over there. So now you can see we have two fields for username and password. Now what do we need? We need one space for button. So what we're going to do, we're going to put another break statement over here, BR, for the next line, and let's put some spaces over here for the button, I guess. And now again ASP, let's say button ID equals to suppose button 1, and now run at equals to server, and button also need text. So text which is show in the button, suppose this is login, and just close it simply. So let's see how the designs look. Okay, the design is moreover okay, good, but I need this part in this part of div, so I have written in wrong div. Just simply cut it from here and I put, let's put it in this div, so it will show like this. Okay, so suppose I want to create another design over here or write anything here. So now we see how we can write a code, okay, with ASP. So what you can do now, I am going to show you how to drag and drop simple things easily. Like I want to add an image over here, just put the image. Now I need it in middle. Let's see. Okay, I need this size. Okay, so here we don't have to put anything like manually, like size and all. We can just select it from here. Okay, it will just come up here. As you can see in the first dip, there is also an ASP, and the height width is already set as I dragged it. So what is the code? ASP image, then ID and run it, and for image you need height and width. Okay, so now it is there. So I'm now showing you how to configure it automatically. You know now both of the options, you can do whatever you want now. Okay, so now the question is okay, it's not looking that much great. Okay, so now okay, now I need an image to set over here. So let's download an image. Okay, suppose I can go for a company logo. So this is the official website, so I just need the image of the logo. Suppose okay, lots of other photos are there. So just save image. I want to save it in desktop, called index.png. okay, png file is also supported. Okay, so now what I can do, I must copy this png file, go to my folder where the website is created, which is in documents, Visual Studio 2010 websites, and the website name is, I guess, website 4. Let's check website 4. Okay, go to website 4 and I'm pasting it over here, index.png. So what I can do, I go for the properties over here, I copy the location, copy. Okay, so now in this image here you can find, if you right click on it, here you can find image properties. Now image URL is there, so I'm just going to paste it over here, and slash I have to add the image name index.png. okay, maybe it's not supported or something like that. Just we'll do that later. So now if I want to color the deep part over here, okay, just this looks much better now. and just push it a bit. Just don't judge me by my designs, I'm very bad at designs. Okay, backend is good for me. Okay, I think it's almost in the same ratio. Just I think okay, great. So now what are we going to do? We want to color this deep over here. So what we can do, just go into this div, but the image is there. We just create a class over here. Class equals to, suppose, div1. This is the class name, and over there also we can add a style option for the CSS part. Style, okay, type equals to text slash CSS, and create it, and there, to call that class div1, we need to write dot div1, and let's set the background color over here. So again, I'm not good with colors and designs, just I'm going to select just gray. I think this is the safe one. Let's see. So it is gray now. Okay, great. So the image is image didn't support there. Okay, that doesn't matter. You can download any image. We'll do it. So now we need to create another web page. Add new item. Go for web form. Okay. So here we have a div. We just ISOEH. Maybe the stream was disconnected for a bit of time, so I'm just doing what? I'm just creating another web page over here and just writing something, anything you want. Welcome to ISOEH, and close it. Okay, so now it is like this. So what we're going to do? Now we need to set an ID and password for it. So we do what? We just click on this button over here. Double click on this button over here. Just do double click, nothing else. Just do double click and it will take you to that .vb page. Okay, so now you have to put vb.net code over here. So I'm going to set an ID and password and logic for it. So I'm going to use the if statement over here. So let's write if. So text box 1 dot text equals to suppose my name Somdeb, and I'm going to use this as operator, and operator, and text box 2 dot text is equals to, suppose, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, now we need to put something called then. Okay, this is the structure of if statement in vb.net. Okay, so now if this condition satisfied, we need response dot redirect, where, so what is my other page name? default2.aspx. so I'm going to write default 2.aspx, close the quotation, and that's it. Okay, and here also I can use if statement, else statement. Go for else. Suppose I'm going to add another label over here. I'm just going to drag and drop this. Okay, here it is, level. So okay, this label ID is level 3, as you can see. So what you can write, if the password does not match, so you can just in else part we can just set level 3 dot text equals to incorrect username or password. It will show us this. Okay, so now I have said everything. Probably there are no errors. Let's cross our fingers and run it. Okay, 0 errors. I'm getting good vibes. Okay, I just ran 2.aspx first. I need to write, I need to execute that default.aspx. Okay, so go for it. Okay, 0 errors also. So this is here. The image is not set, and that doesn't matter. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We're going to put a wrong username and wrong password and click on login. So now what you can see, it says incorrect username or password. Okay, that means it's set correctly. So now I'm going to put my name over here, and in the password 123456, I guess, and login. So now we're in default2.aspx. So this is how you can create, a simple web page with ASP. I think this is very much more simpler than any other languages. You must use HTML. You can use HTML. You can use CSS. Also, you can combine JavaScript and all. Ajax. Okay. So what do you need? Because this is just a simple web scripting language. Okay. And okay, that's all for today, I guess. And hope you like it, and hope you explore much about ASP.NET, because this is my session is this is very interesting side of web development. If you are in PHP from a lots of time, but just try ASP.NET once. I think you everybody is gonna love it. Okay, so thank you.